This is KiniNews and I'm your host Prasad. Breaking news, the Agong has lifted the emergency in Sarawak, which means an election must be held there in 60 days. More about that as it unfolds in the coming weeks. But first, where is Ismail Sabri Yaakob's courage to make bold decisions to save the country? Mohamad Sabu wants to know. Former Defence Minister Mohamad Sabu has urged the Prime Minister to show courage instead of being held hostage and controlled by certain parties. While debating in Parliament today, the Amanah leader said Ismail Sabri Yaakob has yet to even issue a statement on the political crisis in Malacca.
Kena beranilah sikit. Jangan kita nampak macam Perdana Menteri kita ni jadi macam hostage, dikawal oleh orang tertentu. Kena berani. Hai Melaka sampai sekarang tak buat kenyataan. Nak buat pilihan raya ke tak? Kalau nak buat SOP dia macam mana? Ini menteri ini bercakap, menteri ini bercakap. Kita jumpa dengan Perdana Menteri, dia kata boleh ceramah atas terang. Rakan kita daripada keadilan, bersabah atas terang, kena denda 10,000.
Muhammad said because Pakatan Harapan had already signed a MOU with the government, Ismail Sabri is unlikely to be toppled and should act with courage.
Jangan ada ugutan-ugutan daripada mana pihak. Sebab itu kita buat perjanjian, persepahaman supaya dia Perdana Menteri ini boleh kekal hingga pilihan akan datang. Tapi kita nampak dia tak berani membuat sesuatu untuk menyelamatkan Malaysia sekarang ini.
The Court of Appeal has granted Najib an extension to his temporary passport release, which means his trip to Singapore is very much happening right after the Malacca election. The Court of Appeal today allowed Najib Abdul Razak's application to extend his passport's temporary release period to December 6th. This comes after Najib was allowed by 3 separate benches of the KL High Court to extend the temporary passport release period to the same day. A 3-person bench gave the green light today as no objections were raised by the Deputy Public Prosecutor Shafiq Hashim. Najib sought the extension as he first needed to manage the BN party machinery for the Malacca state election on November 20th before he could be in Singapore to give support to his daughter, who is expected to give birth to a second child. The court is holding on to Najib's passport due to his various pending criminal cases. An UMNO veteran told the government today that while handouts and subsidies are helpful to Bumiputras, they are not long-term solutions. UMNO Supreme Council member Tajuddin Abdul Rahman wants the Finance Ministry to come up with a new Bumiputra economic policy that must not be based on handouts. Debating Budget 2022 in Dewan Rakyat today, Tajuddin also blamed policies introduced by Dr. Mahathir Mohamad in the 1990s.
Dan hari ini, berapa persen penyertaan Bumiputra? Di semua peringkat. At all levels I'm talking about. I'm not talking about just equity. Every level. Kita tak sampai pun 5%.
Tajuddin said under the National Development Policy, there was a greater push for privatization and foreign investments, which came at the expense of Bumiputras.
I think we have to change. Saya ingin menggesa kerajaan, Menteri Keuangan dan Kabinet untuk memikirkan satu dasar baru, menggantikan dasar ekonomi baru, menggantikan DPN, dasar pembangunan negara, satu dasar baru yang betul-betul boleh menjayakan dasar matlamat pembangunan ekonomi putra. Kalau tidak, sampai 50 tahun lagi akan datang pun kita tak tahu sama ada kita orang Melayu akan ketinggalan seperti pada hari ini.
Meanwhile, Tajuddin said while welfare in the form of handouts and subsidies should be given, it should not be a long-term solution.
Handout, bantuan. Ini welfare, okay. I support this. We need to give it all this. Terutama sekarang dalam masa tempoh kita COVID ni. Tetapi this is welfare. How long we want to go on with the welfare state? We have to move further. We want to be a developed country, high-income country. So it's not enough.
There's a saying, if you love something, let it go. If it comes back, it's yours forever. UMNO says it respects PAS's decision to use the PN logo. Now the question is, will PAS come back? UMNO Deputy President Mohamad Hassan says the party respects PAS's decision to choose the Perikatan national logo for the Malacca state election. Speaking to the Star, he also said UMNO's Muafakat National Pact with PAS remains intact despite the decision. Initially, UMNO was hoping that PAS would abandon PN in favour of an election pact with it. Meanwhile, Malacca UMNO Deputy Chairperson Muhammad Ali Muhammad similarly said that UMNO will not cut ties with PAS over the move. Previously, PN Chairperson Muhyiddin Yassin announced that Bersatu, PAS and Gerakan had agreed to contest under the PN logo for the upcoming state election. Nomination day for the Malacca election is slated for November 8th, while polling will be held on November 20th. Now we have a message from our sponsor. When we're back, find out why, if you stalk people, you should probably stop doing that.
Shellfish, red meat, and beer. If you love indulging in these foods, you may end up with high uric acid level in your blood. These foods consist high level of purine, a substance that will eventually break down into uric acid and be excreted through our urine. It is recommended that the amount of dietary purines should be kept between 600 to 1000 milligrams per day. Having too much uric acid in your blood can cause attacks of gout. It can also cause kidney stones and blockage in the kidney. The crystallization of the excessive uric acid in your blood can be eased by reducing purine-rich food to only 100 to 150 milligrams daily, maintaining a healthy lifestyle, and consuming urinary alkalinizer like Ural. It consists of sodium bicarbonate, citric acid, and sodium citrate that increases the urinary pH and solubility of uric acid to prevent crystallization. Best of all, it's lemon-flavored and sugar-free. Ural, effective urinary alkalinizer. Neutralize your uric acid problem now.
Stalkers, your time has come to face the music. Soon it will be a crime in Malaysia. Deputy Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Mas Ermiyati Samsudin, has revealed that the government plans to make stalking a crime by this year. The Deputy Minister in charge of Parliament and Law said a policy paper and proposed legal amendments are expected to be presented to the Cabinet in December and will be tabled in Parliament following the Cabinet's approval. She said efforts to make stalking a crime have started since 2019, when an anti-stalking committee was established. She added that meetings with MPs, government agencies and relevant NGOs will continue until the issue is presented to the Cabinet. A 2020 survey conducted by the Women's Aid Organisation revealed that while more women were victims of stalking than men, the experience for men were far more severe, involving threats of harm or actual harm. The WAO said that the anti-stalking law could provide protection for survivors and enhance public awareness about stalking. Out with the old and in with the new. That appears to be Malacca DAP's motto when it comes to candidates for the state election. Malacca DAP Secretary Damien Yeo Shen Lee has hinted that the party will be fielding a fresh lineup of candidates for the Malacca state election. A final lineup will be announced 2 or 3 days after Deepawali by Pakatan Harapan leader Anwar Ibrahim and DAP Secretary General Lim Guaneng. When quizzed by reporters if the new lineup would mean incumbents may have to give up their seats, Yeo said it's a possibility. It was announced last week that DAP would contest 8 seats under the Harapan banner, while PKR and Amanah would go for 11 and 9 seats respectively. Yeo expressed confidence in the coalition's ability to work together in the state election, claiming that former Malacca Chief Minister Adli Zahari would lead the election machinery. Over 500,000 households have been pushed into the B40 group since the pandemic started. The COVID-19 pandemic has pushed 600,000 households from the middle-income group M40 to the low-income group B40. This was revealed by Deputy Minister in charge of Economic Affairs, Aidin Shazli. The Deputy Minister also noted that only 14% of the M1 group qualify for the Bantuan Keluarga Malaysia Direct Cash Aid announced under Budget 2022. The M1 group refers to the bottom 10% of the M40 group. This is because the household income for the M1 group ranges between 4,850 ringgit to 5,888 ringgit monthly, while only those earning below 5,000 ringgit a month are eligible for the cash aid. Adin also said average household income as a whole has decreased 10.3% between the years 2019 and 2020. However, he noted the Statistics Department research had maintained the 2019 poverty line. Undi 18 may not be coming as soon as most people would have liked. Here's why you'll need to wait to vote if you're below 21. De facto Law Minister Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar told Parliament today that the amendments to the Federal Constitution to lower the voting age to 18 cannot be implemented immediately because several matters must be resolved first. This is despite the constitutional amendments having been agreed upon and approved by all parties during the Harapan administration. He said one of the issues that must be resolved includes looking into voter registration to ensure its smooth implementation. He added that when the Constitution was amended in 2019, the timeframe given was until 2023. And based on the timeline set by the Election Commission, the processes will be completed by September 2022 for the system to run smoothly. He explained that several things must be done first, such as the electoral roll must be updated to remove those who have died, fallen sick, gone insane, or imprisoned. On top of that, Wan Junaidi said the COVID-19 pandemic had also prevented the government and the EC from taking action to implement the constitutional amendment. And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook for the latest news updates. If you'd like to support independent media, do consider subscribing to MalaysiaKini.com. Now before I go, I'd just like to wish everyone Happy Deepawali. I'm Prasad. Thanks for watching.
In these difficult times, we have seen many companies innovate and transform their business strategies and produce outstanding outcomes.
These breakthroughs in business model and in technology adoption should be recognized, and we invite all entrepreneurs, innovators and corporate leaders to participate in our inaugural Top in Tech Innovation Awards.